Newsweek reports that Joe Biden might be asked by 25 House Democrats to step down, where the Telegraph comment says, Michelle Obama the only Biden alternative who would beat Trump. New York Times reported, Biden tells allies he knows he has only days. Newsweek reports that Joe Biden might be asked by 25 House Democrats to step down, where the Telegraph comment says, Michelle Obama the only Biden alternative who would beat Trump. New York Times reported, Biden tells allies he knows he has only days to salvage candidacy. Newsweek comment says, Donald Trump heading for landslide victory, new polling suggests.
SCMP comments as, Russia and North Korea pact dooms U.S. hopes of Indo-Pacific dominance, as deepening Russia and North Korea ties test U.S. and South Korea deterrence strategy. The Taliban tell the West to look past harsh edicts on Afghan women and girls and build ties. China, Australia donate buildings, airstrips in Pacific influence race.
Tucker Carlson announces interview with Zelensky, and Zelensky's spokesperson denies claim of upcoming interview with pro-Russian Tucker Carlson. Poland's Law and Justice says no to Orban's Patriots and stays with Meloni's group in EU Parliament. Scholz promises Germany won't be party in Ukraine war, and Germany will never support ceasefire that entails Ukraine's surrender, says Scholz.
FedEx. Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings is one of the first Democratic megatoners to call for Biden to step aside. Joe Biden sit down with George Stephanopoulos, moves to Friday primetime as pressure on President on the U.S. increases from debate debacle.
Russia cheers Marine Le Pen's national rally in French election. French left and centrist parties unite to block far-right national rally. Renowned Nazi hunter in France advises Jews to choose far-right over far-left in elections. Donald Trump challenges hush money conviction hours after immunity ruling. House Republicans sue Attorney General Garland for access to audio from Biden's interview with special counsel Hull. John Dean says Nixon would have survived Watergate under immunity ruling.
Nigel Farage boycotts BBC over question time blow-up. Germany asks citizenship applicants to recognize the right of the State of Israel to exist. Donald Trump crushes Joe Biden in first debate polls. Nigel Farage's speech interrupted as led by donkeys protesters lower in Vladimir Putin banner. Trump says he'll accept 2024 results if they're fair and legal, while airing false 2020 fraud claims. France votes in election that could hand power to far-right.
Republicans advance contempt charges against Biden's ghostwriter for refusing to turn over records. North Korea's Kim Jong-un badge is worn by officials in public for the first time.
Pakistani court sentences Christian man to death for posting hateful content against Muslims. No Muslim representation in India's cabinet as Modi starts third term, and it had been commented as, Muslims in India continue to be targeted by emboldened mobs under Modi 3.0. Singapore prepared to recognize Palestine if it renounces terrorism and accepts Israel.
Government commits to making lying in politics illegal. Count Binface, Elmo and AI Steve, the UK election's unusual candidates. Starmer says UK won't rejoin EU trade bloc in his lifetime, and UK to vote in parliamentary elections expected to end a Conservative rule, as Keir Starmer's Labour Party tipped for historic election win as UK voters go to the polls. Democratic governors vowed to stand with Biden after shaky debate performance. Recently, Biden to hold crisis meeting with Democratic governors at the White House. White House denies report that Biden is considering dropping out, as Biden says he screwed at debate but vows to stay in election. Fauci says he has no doubt Biden is capable of continuing as president. German court convicts far-right politician Bjorn Höcke for using Nazi slogan. Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party leads in first round of French election, and violent protest against far-right National Rally erupt in Paris, as Macron urges tactical voting. Twice as many Britons want tax rises as want cuts, survey finds.
Orban. Allies announce right-wing Patriots for Europe alliance as Austrian far-right. Hungary's Orban form new EU alliance. Portugal's far-right joins Viktor Orban's Patriots for Europe alliance. Jean-Luc Mélenchon will not be PM if left-wing alliance wins majority. Green's candidate says. The conversation comments as, the far right has surged to the lead in France's elections. But forming a government remains a tall order.
In the US, state social media laws aimed at protecting conservative users remain blocked, Supreme Court says. In Spain, adults who want to access porn sites must have a 30 access digital card valid for 30 days. In Argentina, government proposes lowering age of criminal responsibility from 16 to 13.
Amplifies calls to jail top elected officials, invokes military tribunals, and Liz Cheney fires back at Trump after he calls for televised military tribunals for former Congresswoman. Ahead of election, Venezuela's Maduro says he has agreed to resume negotiations with United States. 39 died, over 350 injured in Kenya's anti-tax protests.
Trump has some immunity in D.C. election interference case. Supreme Court rules. 2 of Donald Trump's golf course liquor licenses not renewed. Trump seeks to toss New York felony conviction after immunity win. And Supreme Court rules former presidents have broad immunity, dimming chance of a pre-election Trump trial. Supreme Court impeachment plan released by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Biden warns Supreme Court presidential immunity ruling is dangerous precedent. The Nation comments as, the president can now assassinate you, officially, and Huffington Post comments as, Supreme Court gives Joe Biden the legal okay to assassinate Donald Trump.
SEC loses bid to classify BNB secondary sales as securities. U.S. judge lets most of SEC case against Binance proceed, dismisses secondary sales charge. Nigeria's cryptocurrency market surpasses $400 million, says SEC Director General. Vitalik, but Erin says crypto regulations have created anarcho-tyranny. Bloomberg comments as, boring Bitcoin sends weekend trading volume to all-time lows. Banque de France, Hong Kong Monetary Authority explores CBDC, tokenization. FBI announces, up to $5 million reward offer for information leading to arrest and/or conviction of 10 most wanted fugitive, cryptoqueen Ruja Ignatova. Indonesia detains 103 Taiwanese in a raid in Bali involving suspected cybercrime.
$1 splurge on influencers and private jet logos. All the networks have similar spending. India-based crypto exchange CoinDCX acquires Dubai's Bit Oasis. U.S. judge sets stage for NFT securities trial as DraftKings lawsuit moves forward.
Filipinos can now use Tether's USDT on TON blockchain for social security payments. Russian regulator encourages use of crypto to counter sanctions. Ahead of the UK election, major parties remain silent on crypto issues. Eigenlayer competitor Symbiotic crosses $1 billion in deposits in under a month. DWF Labs launches $20 million fund to support Web3 projects in Chinese-speaking regions. Revolut CEO confident on UK bank license approval as fintech firm hits record $545 million profit, and Revolut planning to offer mortgages in Ireland from next year.
Bitcoin slides on Biden drama, risk of sales linked to MTGOX. As in cryptocurrency market crash, $90 billion erased from global crypto market cap within hours. Biden's odds of dropping out surged to almost 80% on Polymarket after New York Times report. New York Times reported that Biden tells allies he knows he has only days to salvage candidacy. In Ethereum hodling, 78% of supply locked in diamond hands. Nvidia soars 2,782% in 5 years, outshining Bitcoin and Ethereum. Token merger of SingularityNet, Fetch.ai, and Ocean Protocol goes live.
Circle snags first stablecoin license under EU's new MiCA crypto rules. Crypto custody firm Anchorage offers investment returns through deal with Cumberland-backed Hashnote. Sony gets ready to launch crypto exchange in Japan with acquired Amber platform.
U.S. Marshals Service announces partnership with Coinbase to manage and dispose cryptocurrencies.
Crypto-friendly Silvergate Bank pays $63 million to settle charges with SEC, Fed, California regulator. Roaring Kitty lawsuit over GameStop is withdrawn for now. Recently, Roaring Kitty's favorite meme stocks are tanking as the trader faces securities fraud claims over past social media posts. Hackers stole $176.2 million in crypto in June.
Kim Jong-un says economy is on an upturn as Russian ties deepen. The Conversation comment says, Russia has become so economically isolated that China could order the end of war in Ukraine. The Guardian comment says, when power shifts, so does the money. Mega donors fill labor's coffers.
Philippine fried chicken giant Jollibee buys South Korea's composed coffee. Online shopping warehouses are creating new American boomtowns. A new Trump Tower is coming to Saudi Arabia in 2028.
Marie Le Pen declared unfit to stand trial over misuse of EU funds. In the U.S., survivors of Tulsa race massacre call on Biden to open investigation into 1921 attack. 3 weeks ago, Oklahoma Supreme Court dismisses lawsuit brought by survivors of Tulsa race massacre. In Brazil, military pensions will cost $856 billion in the coming decades, 60% of the value for retired civil servants.
Israel announces largest appropriation of state land in West Bank since Oslo Accords. Some Israeli hostages have attempted suicide, Islamic Jihad armed wing says. Southeast Asian militant group Jamaah Islamiyah to be disbanded, say its senior leaders.
Asian version of NATO. North Korea slams joint drills by U.S., South Korea, and Japan. China has natural say in choosing next Dalai Lama, Tibet experts tell Beijing Forum. For China and Peru, Boluart meets Xi Jinping, cooperation advances from Chancay to Shanghai.
Chinese EV makers race to Southeast Asia for growth amid U.S. trade war. John Deere announces mass layoffs in Midwest amid production shift to Mexico. Fisker to recall over 12,000 Ocean vehicles.
Alarming Google study of Gen Zers claims they're spending their time mindlessly in timepass mode. Italy's Mondo TV fined $538,000 by U.S. Treasury for producing animated shows in North Korea.
Firms from Middle East, Europe are eyeing Hong Kong IPO thanks to cross-border schemes, claimed UBS. Bloomberg comments as UK becomes safe haven for investors spooked by France chaos. China launches rail service with Europe via Russia.
Ancient bronze bells. Han Dynasty frog among 14 cultural relics returned to China. Japan to issue new banknotes with historic figures that appear to rotate in 3D. Robots take up dirtiest jobs in Malaysia's palm plantations crippled by labor shortage.
36% of Americans plan to take on debt for summer travel. Argentina's GDP drops 5.1% and unemployment climbs to 7.7%. Societies with little money are among the happiest on earth.
Washington Post comments as Trump says immigrants are taking black jobs. Economists disagree. Albania's census shows population fell by 14% since 2011. AfD delegate bites the leg of a demonstrator, and protesters and police clash as Germany's far-right AfD begin conference. German far-right AfD party backs co-leaders amid violent clashes.
Canadian military was following legal orders to try to rescue Afghan Sikhs. General S. says, 3 days ago, it had been reported that Minister Sajjan instructed special forces to rescue Afghan Sikhs during fall of Kabul. Lieutenant General Jenny Carrigan to become first woman to lead Canadian Armed Forces. Police search Thales offices in 3 countries in corruption probe.
Reuters reports that firm making car that Putin gifted to Kim uses South Korean parts. Toyota GR86 to finally get turbo while cutting ties with Subaru. Ford CEO says a profitable $30,000 EV is coming in 2.5 years.
VW's gas turbine business to China. In Argentina, the government defines the new wave of 5,000 layoffs in the state amid strong protests.
Nancy Pelosi disclosed stock market trades made by her husband. He loaded up on AI plays like Nvidia and sold Tesla. SoftBank lost 99% when the dot-com bubble burst. Now it's all in on AI. Cryptocurrency investors are more likely to self-report dark tetrad personality traits, study shows.
Raids find luxury handbags being made by exploited workers in Italy. In Spain, Glovo founder faces 6 months to 6 years in prison for undermining workers' rights. 18 months ago, Spain's delivery platform Glovo fined again for breaching labor laws. EU malls closing off duty exemption for cheap goods that helps Shein, Temu, AliExpress.
DJI further diversifies from drones with the Avinox East Bike Drive system. Sony won't phase out Blu-ray movie and game discs, only ceasing production on consumer BDR. BTS member Jin expected to take part in Paris Olympics as a torchbearer from South Korea.
Financial Times comments as, market forces are not enough to halt climate change. Bloomberg comments as, China's investment bankers join the Communist Party as morale and paychecks shrink.
Belarus officially joins SCO, becomes its 10th member state. Russia considers Armenia its ally, Deputy PM Overchuk says. Turkey's